as part of this webinar is that how AI is transforming modern project management, key updates around PMBOK 8th edition, and we're all kind of interested to learn how AI is included into the PMBOK syllabus for from 8th edition onwards. Then it will be interesting to know how AI-driven decision making and data-informed leadership we can learn these topics through PMBOK. Then digital transformation and evolving delivery approaches. We'll spend a little bit more time on that. And then lastly, we will to cover skills every project manager needs to stay relevant in the AI era going forward. So that is, largely that we will cover these topics today. Moving on. So this is just to give you an idea about the certifications that are offered by PMI. Now, PMI is a project management institution. It's the governing body, and it's globally accredited. The certifications given by PMI are globally accredited. PMP being most popular, most famous project management professional certification worldwide, it has a tremendous value because the way you learn these techniques, these standards, these frameworks, which are given by PMI, are globally used, and they are kind of industry agnostic. So whatever you are learning as part of PMBOK, as part of PMP training, it will stay with you. These are the standards, the frameworks, the basics, fundamentals will be the focus is given on to kind of solidify that knowledge. That's PMP for you. Now, the next, and because of the AI trends that we have seen in the market, and you all probably agree that the shift has started to happen, not just in IT industry, but in even in non-IT industries. You will see that a lot of AI adoption happening. So that is when PMI also kind of thought of coming up with this new certification around AI, that is CPMAI, Certified Professional in Managing AI. So we will talk a lot more about this certification as we go on. And there are two other certifications which are kind of driven from PMP. So you need to be PMP certified. So if you want to go for the next level, like a program manager or a portfolio manager, there you will see there are two separate certifications given by PMI around program management professional and portfolio management professional. So the only requirement there is to be PMP certified. So this is for our candidates who are looking for growth, maybe having more than 10 years of experience, 10, 15 years of experience, and they want to again kind of strengthen their knowledge around managing programs, managing portfolios. So just to give you the context, program, it's kind of a collection of projects, similar projects together, and portfolio is collection of projects and programs together. So these are kind of senior leadership roles in any organization that you would find. And these are also most sought after professional certifications in the industry. So, doesn't mean that you have to have that 10 years of experience to kind of qualify for that. You just need to be PMP certified for so that you can apply for PGMP. And then similarly, for PFMP also you need to be PGMP certified because these are kind of stacked on top of each other. But for CPMAI, there is no certain requirement like that. Anyone can go for CPM. Just to kind of give you an idea about what are the changes that you would see in PMBOK 8th edition. So PMBOK 8th edition has come up with so there are multiple editions that you would see happening in PMBOK. The latest edition is 8th edition that was kind of made live in November 2025. It is driven for whatever we have seen in 7th edition. So 7th edition had a little bit of change. They kind of change the knowledge areas, the focus areas. The principles were 12, but now the more focus were kind of shifted into value delivery, having a value-driven approach in project management in the 8th edition. So as you can see here, I think, the font size is a little small. I apologize for that. But this is just to give you the context. What is changed in 8th edition as far as the content goes? So content is still the same. They have just reshuffled it. They have brought back the process groups around initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling and closing. And they have also brought back there are seven performance domain around governance, scope, schedule, finance, stakeholders, resources, and risk. And not to mention, there's a lot of focus given on AI. So you will see towards the end of the PMBOK guide, there is a separate section which is only talking about AI, how AI is going to help our future project manager. And that is what we're trying to cover in today's session. So moving forward, so how AI integration, how say how we can see AI playing a major role in project management in the modern era. Maybe if you look at it this way, as a traditional project manager, you spend a lot of time doing planning. You spend a lot of time doing communication and stakeholder management or finding out risk. Now, what if I were to tell you that usage of AI, and plus, you all know that there are a lot of advancements keep on happening on AI. I mean, if you're following news, you will see every big companies like, Meta, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, they are coming up with new models altogether. So if you are AI enthusiast, if you are, kind of attracted towards what is happening in the AI domain, you would know that the new models are kind of advancing on the earlier models, right? What does that mean? That we have new capabilities, new advancements happening, how we can use these AI tools. Now, if I use these AI tools to be better at planning, be better at stakeholder engagement, stakeholder management, or communication management, or finding out risk. How can we do that? Now, this is what we're trying to kind of touch base on here. That PMBOK or PMI is trying to focus more on project manager to become an AI curator. So you need to use these AI tools so effectively and efficiently where your mundane task or repetitive task can be automated. All right. So here, just to put these things into perspective, where you can have predictive scheduling. Now, scheduling, we all know, if you're already doing project management, scheduling is all about planning or about timing. Now, what if you use AI tools? I mean, you might have been using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a very popular tool, we all know. But there are tons of other AI tools like Claude. Claude is very famous in the technical world. I specifically use Claude to do multiple other things. So if you're using these tools in such a way, and plus there is prompt engineering topic. I think we'll cover that in next slide. But you need to understand, first of all, understand how AI tools work. Second of all, how we can effectively use them to get your output with better accuracy, with better precision. So that's something that we will kind of the focus is given more on to learn these AI concepts as part of new PMBOK edition. All right. Now, scheduling, just to go back what I was saying earlier, that if I were to tell you how to use Claude to find out a schedule slippage or find out the bottlenecks in your planning, that will be interesting to know, right? Because you spend a lot of time, say you're working on a bigger, larger projects. It will be interesting to know how you can save your time, save your efforts using these AI tools. Scheduling is just one part. Now, what about risk? Finding out, having that continuous loop around your risk strategy, your risk registers, your risk logs, finding out those signals, uh, you know, and then how you can be proactive. Now, we all know that project managers are supposed to be proactive in nature. And what if these AI tools help you to be, to find out these risks proactively and so that you can work on them before they happen. And similarly, if you're, doing status reporting, how can you automate your status reporting? We all use Jira is a popular tool in agile world. So we use uh, Jira, Microsoft Project. These are, very popular tool these days. What if we bring automation to that? What if you spend, and believe me, from my personal experience, we spend a lot of time finding out these data pointers to create an accurate status report, because you need to give the status report to your senior leadership, and your senior leadership is looking at you to give an accurate report so that they can pass it on to the next higher ups. So what if that accuracy, the precision of your status reporting is automated through AI tools. You know, that's interesting. And then similarly, for resource planning, so there's a lot of, if you're working on projects which are um, yeah, huge in nature, where you're working with 100, 200, 500 resources, then the planning becomes very cumbersome. It's a very then it's very time consuming task for you as a project manager. So what if we have these algorithms or these tasks which can be automated using agentic flows, or creating AI agents for that matter, right? So these are, different areas, and I think we already touched base upon timeline, risk, status reporting, planning. There are dependency mapping, sentiment, and stakeholder signals. You can use these, tools effectively. There are tons of other tools. I mean, I'll probably have to take another session to give you the tools, names, and their usage. But for sentiment analysis, for stakeholder engagement, how effectively can you use this tool? So PMBOK, even there are some free trainings given by PMI that like will help you to use these ready-made templates or readily available templates, prompts, which can help you to do these things. Like, how do you create a project charter? How do you create a project plan? How do you create a risk register? How do you create a status report? So this is all kind of well planned and well made by PMI. The prompts, I mean. Okay. All right. Moving forward. Um, so what are the key updates, around these AI topics? What we can do? As like I said, the focus is given more on you as a project manager to become like an AI curator. So AI as being at the forefront, how can you use AI assistance? There are three main topics covered in PMBOK around AI. That AI is looked at as an assistant. AI as an automation, and AI as an augmentator, right? So if you use what is the difference between that quickly? That AI assistance is not, or AI automation is nothing but like how do you automate your planning activities? Like say you're doing a sprint planning. If I set up an end workflow, I can do this planning quickly before my sprint happens. AI assistance is like, using ChatGPT or Claude to create your template, giving some basic prompts. And AI augmentation takes it to a next level where, say, for example, if I want to travel for a business trip, and I tell this AI agent to book a flight. So if I have these three agents, kind of an agentic workflow where it's what the one agent is to check for weather, another agent to check for traffic, and another to check for the flight availability. They all work together, and then they tell me that no, you should not travel within the next 2 days. You should postpone your travel because there is an there's a weather update that it's not good to travel. Maybe, there is some warning given by the government. So these agents work together, kind of, mimic our human intelligence, and then they give you prediction. So this is very interesting to know how these three categories of AI assistance, AI automation, and AI augmentation can help you in project management. So we will study all of that as part of PMBOK. Okay. Um, just to kind of cover these other topics around AI as a core delivery enabler. So the more focus is given on AI assistance on forecasting, on reporting, on risk analysis, like I said earlier. Then we strengthen the hybrid and adaptive models. So we all know that traditionally we've been using predictive or waterfall approach, delivery approach to manage and deliver projects. Then Agile came into picture. Agile was popular for last 10, 15 years, and we all know how Agile is used in many industries. And then there's also a hybrid approach where part of your project activities will be done using waterfall and part will be done by Agile. So these hybrid approaches, and plus, how can you use these three different types of delivery approaches in AI augmented scenario. So the focus is given more on that if you learn the new syllabus of PMBOK. Okay, and then plus how you as a project manager, how you can improve your competency using AI models. Okay, again there is a big portion which is kind of focused just on AI, but there is a lot more given on project management principles and frameworks which are kind of changing because of the AI. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot more focus given on governance. Uh, there's a lot more focus given on compliance, on security, and there's a lot more focus given on value delivery, value stream mapping. Okay, how do you identify that? So it's very interesting to know how if you kind of get onto this journey of PMP or PMIC, PMI, you will learn these concepts to the core, and you can apply this to your real life projects, right? Okay, moving on. So how does AI-driven decision making and data-informed leadership happen through this? The PMBOK is kind of, like I said, there's a shift that you would see from traditional approach to AI-informed approach. So what do you do traditionally as a project manager? That your judgments are mainly based on your experience and intuition. But if you look at an AI informed approach, it's mainly data driven. You know, we are trying to find it's mainly cognitive in nature. So we do a lot of predictive analytics, pattern recognition, and it's again around what kind of AI tools you will use. It can be automated. Statuses. So traditionally, like I said, more focus is given on your experience and your intuition around what is happening, the project activities. And as we move on to AI, it will be more informed. It will be more data driven. Like using predictive analytics and finding patterns. And you can use these AI tools to kind of set up your automation, your assistance, and augmentation. And how to do that is what we will learn. Okay. Statuses are derived from your periodic manual reporting. What does that mean? That you have to discuss with your team, go to the floor, and then see what is happening so that you can have time-bound, real-time information to report into your status report meetings. Correct? Now here, if I have dashboard which are kind of synthesized like Power BI dashboard or dashboards which are created by AI tools, it can continuously monitor what are the changes that are happening. What if for IT specific example, what if I can configure my Jira, GitHub Copilot or Azure DevOps together in an AI tool which can give me real time updates. Okay, so these are the things people have already started changing. It can give you, so there is no dependency on your team members to give you the real time update on the project activities. Correct. Risk identified are mainly through discussions, through brainstorming, through workshops, or being on the floor, like I said. What if we can find out risk coming out from data or from data pointers or the documents that you're uploading? Now, I maybe if you have learned about AI, if you're not even if you're not learning about AI, there are RAG concepts, there is MCP concepts, RAG, like there's also an agentic RAG, MCP servers. These are different concepts that you can learn, which will help you to be more precise in terms of finding risk. Okay, decisions can also be reviewed retrospectively. So if you use Agile, we do a lot of decision making happens after the fact. What if we have this AI curation done in your project management activities where the decisions can be validated and can be explained as and when they happen. Okay. All right, moving on. So the shift that you would see, like we were already kind of touching upon, the delivery models are kind of converging as part of PMBOK guide. So it's AI augmentation. That's the continuum that you would see. That traditionally we started with predictive waterfall approach, then we kind of moved because there was a lot of disruption happening because of agile, so we kind of did a blended approach of waterfall plus agile, and then there was separate domain or industry you would see which is only doing only through agile. Now there is a new concept or new element that you would see in the delivery, digital transformation or delivery approaches is around AI augmented delivery, okay, which is continuous, data driven, and self adjusting. So here, just to give an example, there are agentic AI frameworks being developed where people are creating websites or course. And I think you probably, if you know Lovable, you can do vibe coding like that. But for even for bigger industries, there are different other tools like Zapier, enterprise level applications or AI tools, which are used to kind of create AI augmented delivery. You can create your websites or enterprise level websites or applications, IT applications or other tools using AI within no time. And plus, you can have SDD, or BMAD approaches attached to it. So, or DDD for that matter. So these delivery approaches can be tied to your agentic AI workflows, and they can give you the outcome, accurate outcome, which you can work on. And plus, you can work with experts. You can have AI/ML engineers or architects or product orchestrators. These are the different roles that you would see in the world of AI. Okay. Now, another topics around cloud and integrated tool chains is like, you can have a unified data across Jira, DevOps, ERP, GitHub Copilot, like we said. And these layers can help you to bring these data pointers from these different sources. Okay. So what does that mean? Like I said, you can have an AI agent working on top of it, which is kind of looking at the changes that are happening and can give you real time updates about your IT projects. Okay. And non-IT projects also, if you go to say manufacturing or automotive or construction industries, you will find these applications of AI automations or AI augmentations. They can also be applied for new age project managers. Connected PMOs. So PMOs kind of for larger organizations where you have portfolio level dashboards. They can replace the silos project by project status reporting. So where you have these connected PMOs through AI tools can give you an overall understanding of your portfolio progress, right? And data governance is by design. So there's whenever we talk about AI, you will see data at the center point because the data pointers are kind of feeding into your models or your training data set. And then we use different other algorithms to find out the outputs, right? So delivery approaches are kind of now embedding data quality and security control. There is also a separate section around data quality and security in PMBOK. The skills that every project manager need to stay relevant in this changing era because of AI is to have AI and data fluency. What that means is that you need to know AI, the basics and fundamentals of AI. So that includes artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, natural language processing, then generative AI, and then plus agents, AI agents, and agentic AI, and plus there is new levels that are coming up now. So these are the new terms that you will see in bigger organizations around project management, and if you don't know this term, then you will be left behind. Okay. The new age project managers have already started adapting the AI fluency and data fluency, right? So how do you now, what does that mean? That you will not only just learn these concepts, but how these concepts are used in the new age project management using AI tools, right? So the AI generated forecasting, dashboards, recommendations, predictive analysis, augmentation, all that we just discussed will make more sense to you if you know this concept. Another aspect of AI being relevant in the AI era is to have ethical and governance judgment. So you as a project manager, like I said, PMBOK has given more focus on governance and value delivery in the latest edition. You need to also look at AI usage in an ethical way, evaluating your AI outputs. So AI outputs will also need to be checked for hallucinations. There's also human in the loop. Now, what does human in the loop means is that there are multiple uh, examples that you will find that some organizations have just created reports using AI tools, and there was an hallucination, and it created an inaccurate report, and that is how it got submitted. And they had to pay a huge penalty because they do not verify it. So human in the loop is nothing but to have a check on output of what AI tools are creating so that you can verify, you can fine tune. Okay, that is human in the loop. It's again the human centric leadership is AI will not replace everything, like we keep on saying, and even I keep on saying in my other trainings around AI. AI is kind of an enabler. Okay, it is going to empower our existing project manager. So if you're not learning AI, then maybe you'll be left behind. But if you are learning AI, if you're using it effectively to do your project management activities, then you are kind of staying in the wave, right? The human skills or the emotional intelligence, these skills that project manager has to have, and he need to perform. He will need these emotional intelligence, these leadership skills, leadership styles. They, at least at this moment, will not be replaceable by AI because that involves human touch, right? Stakeholder negotiations, contract negotiations, or even team empowerment, conflict management. These are the terms that you will learn or you might have heard as a project manager. So these things require human touch, right? So you can use AI models to give you some data pointers to come up with a strategy, but you still have to connect with humans to deliver that, right? Adaptive and hybrid delivery skills is nothing but like fluidly blending your predictive, agile, and AI augmented methods to project context. You can use a business acumen, value focus, and continuous learning mindset. So these are traditionally you would see you need to have these skills: adaptive, hybrid delivery skill, good business acumen, value delivery focus, and continuous learning mindset. But in the AI world, you need to be focused more on AI and data fluency, human-centered leadership, and ethical governance. All right, moving on. So key takeaways here is that, like I said, PMBOK has formally embraced AI as a core enabler of delivery. It's not an optional add-on. The decision making is kind of a partnership. So you use your judgment and plus AI generated insights. So use AI tools effectively to kind of help you to make a better decision, informed decision rather. Use delivery approaches. Delivery approaches are kind of converging where you have adaptive, agile, and then AI augmented continuum. And like I said, human skills are more valuable. They're not in the world of AI. So it's around ethics, leaderships, and adaptability to see how we can create our next gen project manager. So I'm towards the end, so we can open our floor for questions. Yeah, maybe these questions you can ask about yourself. Like, how is your organization piloting AI in project reporting? Where do you see the biggest governance risk in AI, and which future-ready skills fields for farthest from your current role? So this is just to have an AI informed delivery for you as a project manager. Either you're being part of a PMO or kind of trying to get onto PMP journey. So we can open the floor for questions. How to develop AI and data fluency? Okay, great question. So how do you develop AI and data fluency? Is to at least attend. So how do you develop AI and data fluency? That's a great question. So first of all, you need to have that learning mindset. Are you ready to learn AI? Okay. We start with that. Start with the core concepts of AI. Like I said, around AI, deep learning, machine learning, NLP, Gen AI. These are, and then AI agents and agentic AI. So if you spend time on learning these, and there are trainings and certifications are available through our through ProThought, so we can even try that. If you learn that, that itself will kind of open doors to data. How then you will start understanding around data, because AI is, it doesn't make sense, if you don't have a good structured data to give you a good output. It's like your prompt. If you're doing, you also need to learn about prompt engineering, right? How to write good, effective prompts. Plus, then there is tokenization. There's cost involved in tokens. So it's kind of it's all waved together, where you need to first learn the AI basics, learn how AI tools work, how data is important in the AI tools, and how you as a project manager can use these tools. So AI data fluency is kind of starting with you to learn this concept, or at least have a training, attend these trainings where these concepts will be explained to you, and plus do a hands-on these tools. So I have also personally learned N10. I have personally learned Lovable, Python. I have done machine learning coding. So that helps me to kind of solidify that knowledge around AI. Data fluency for project managers. So how do you understand your data? Now, data for a project manager can be around resources, can be around finances, governance, stakeholders, risk, your timeline. All these are data pointers, right? So you need to understand these data pointers, how it is kind of interrelated, dependent on each other, create a cohesive repository, and then have your AI tool to look at that data so that you can use it like ChatGPT or Claude to give some prompts like give me the risk in my timeline, or give me the risk in my resources, or my invoicing, or my budgeting. Am I going to have a cost overrun? So if you kind of configure it in that way, the AI will kind of give you the accurate answer. So data fluency for project managers actually starts with you. You need to understand the data and how you can configure. As per the earlier discussion, decision making process will be a combination of human judgment and AI insights instead of a traditional judgment basis. Having said that, don't you feel that we cannot fully rely on the making decision basis AI insights basis historical data, as some decision in the complex project shall be made basis the current situation of where the project is heading? Yeah, interesting question. So here you can, I mean, you yourself have kind of touched on how we can go ahead. Uh, you should the decision making sometimes is very critical, and you should not be using AI tools to make some critical decisions, and that is where we talked about human in the loop. And using historical data, some decision pointers will definitely help you to train your model to give you some accuracy. But human in the loop is the best approach that we use these days to have some verification and validation. And plus, there are tools around that part which can automate your decision making. Hi, on AI driven decision making, where does AI fit in the framework? Is it a new principle, part of a focus area, or embedded across domains? It's embedded across domains. So there is a separate section in PMBOK which will just talk about AI and its impact on project management. And we talked about AI assistance, AI automation, and AI augmentation. These are the three categories that they have focused, and that is applied across different other project management activities. So is the focus on using AI tools, predictive analytics, delivering automation, or on governing, overseeing AI-generated decisions? Yes, yes. So there are topics given in PMBOK which will talk about predictive analytics, scheduling optimization, mainly around governance and compliance in PMBOK. What guardrails are recommended for human oversight of AI recommendations? Yeah, great question. So guardrails will be around typically around hallucinations, because if you have used these AI tools, the hallucination is nothing but generating content on the fly which is not related to your context. If you don't send your context correctly, you will have some random creation. And if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, you would understand what hallucination. How can I PM use AI in a day-to-day task? Yeah, there are plenty of examples that I can give you. You are going to daily Scrum meetings, or you are checking your plans. You're creating a work, weekly status report. What if I have a tool, AI tool, that can automate that? Imagine how much time you can save. Even creating project plans, or risk contingency plans, or RCAs for that matter. What if you configure your data repository and have an AI tool around it? It can do it in minutes, and traditionally you would spend days to create that, right? So there are plenty of ways you can use AI. Is AI in PM more focused on IT industry based projects or manufacturing type projects, and not much in infrastructure consultants? No, AI, I think it's like I said, it's industry agnostic. So you as a project manager, IT, non-IT, doesn't really matter. The concepts are kind of defined or designed in a way where these concepts will be applicable. So you are Typically you as a project manager, you are worried about cost, you're worried about quality, you're worried about risk, you're worried about resources, correct? So all these are, at a high level, they will have their, detailed level planning for all these different other constraints. These AI tools can help you, IT, non-IT, any industries, to do your automation, or to give you more prediction, more forecasting, accurate forecasting. That is your time saving, because you as a project manager, you spend a lot of time uh, finding the accurate data. So AI and PM is not just focused on IT industry. Okay, it is for IT, non-IT. AI is a concept. You have to learn this like a mindset, like we call agile as a mindset. So again, having AI, learning AI, using AI is a mindset that you have to adopt. I have completed the PMBOK Guide 7th edition classes. I would now like to prepare for the certification and continue my studies. Could you please guide me on how I should start my preparation? Also, if there is any updated syllabus, new material, or a course related to what is being referred to as PMBOK 8th edition, please let me know how I can enroll and prepare for it. Okay, that's great. Yeah, Rupesh, I mean, if you have already learned 7th edition, that's great. So your foundation is already done. PMBOK 8th edition has kind of just built on top of it. Okay, some things are new, some things have been obsolete. But if you have PMBOK 8th edition, if you can go through it, that will be great. Then you are ready for the the exam. But it's recommended, if you have not done the actual mandatory training of 35 contact hours, then you should do that, so that you will get the latest and greatest content and the training. Okay, so we can help you from Pro Thought. So Joel asked a question like, what your opinion, will AI replace the traditional PM job? That's a classic question, Joel. Yeah, no, I mean, AI will not replace the traditional PM job. Like I said, AI is an enabler. It's something that empowers the traditional project manager. So if you as a project manager, if you are not, you have not learned AI concepts, if you're not using AI tools, you are left behind. Okay, there are tons of project manager, or the new age project manager. They have already started adopting AI tools, and you would see the change happening, worldwide. All right, great questions, guys. Let me know which AI is best to learn for civil engineer, structural engineer, project management, planning, and scheduling. Which AI is best to learn? Okay, AI as a concept, like I said, so you have to learn the AI basics first. So the tools will be different because you are coming from civil or construction engineering, but the concept will still be the same. So, like we talk about deep learning, we talk about machine learning, we talk about NLP, natural language processing, we talk about agentic AI, right? So if you know these concepts, what are these concepts, how we can use that in our day-to-day life, then definitely the tools are actually available. And again, if you come to the training, we can definitely discuss on that.